Hey guys, Namaskar, back with a new video. And yeah, this one's about how Arvind Kejriwal has chosen to fight his own case in the Delhi High Court. And yeah, so that's a very interesting thing. I feel this may set a trend amongst the politicians, or at least the public figure, to sort of kind of want to fight their own case. And yeah, this thing may lead me to uh, give some of my opinions on the social framework. So stick till the end, and I think it may be uh, something interesting to you. So yeah, let's start. So Kejriwal has decided to fight his own case, and by doing so, I think, okay, this may not be the first time that someone has decided to fight his or her own case. There are many cases before where the accused has chosen to fight his or her own case. But what Kejriwal has done this time is that he has managed to sort of uh, question the judge's integrity by highlighting the fact that she is very close to the RSS organization, or at least uh, she is of she's got a real sort of closeness or towards the RSS ideology. Because as you we all heard Kejriwal say in the court that the judge's son or the daughter or herself, I'm not too sure, may have attended many of the RSS programs or uh, programs of various organizations linked to the RSS. So this is kind of very new, questioning the judge's integrity. And I think any lawyer, conventional lawyer, wouldn't have sort of uh, fought the case in this way, because I think they are too indoctrinated to sort of question a judge's integrity. And they I don't think, and this was kind of like an out of the box thinking. Somebody who's not really indoctrinated by the judicial ecosystem could probably go out there and make it kind of a political battle in a courtroom, uh, sort of thing. And this was only possible because Kejriwal himself, I think, is a very astute politician and a successful one for sure. And as you know, to be a politician, you always have to sort of uh, remain very wily, and remain mentally flexible, to adapt quickly. Because I mean, Kejriwal over there in that fight, in his defense, says that he has considerable doubts that he may not get the right justice, because he is from the opposite ideology to RSS, and the judge herself uh, is herself has been uh, known to be a, a supporter of the RSS ideology. So, okay, now this Kejriwal, this that he has said, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, I have personally, a lot of doubt on what he said there, that he is actually of the opposite ideology. Because if you look at his history, he started his political career with the support of RSS BJP in the Anna movement. And then and which I mean, which is of course which was also of course against the Congress, who is known to have the opposite ideology of BJP RSS. But now, and also I've heard him say many times that he's a Bajrang Bali Bhakt and all that, and now he's saying he's in the opposite camp. So point being, this shows the the astuteness of a seasoned politician that Kejriwal is, and the mental flexibility he has in that is required in politics, and to become successful in politics. And yeah, I mean, what he has actually done is he's played the sort of politics card, which is you know it is an open secret, that our judicial system is heavily driven by politics. Each and every lawyer, may not be each and every lawyer, but most of the lawyers and the judges, even though they may not be most, but many of the judges and the lawyers, even though they swear by the constitution every day, may be hoping, secretly hoping for a country that is governed by manusmriti or the sharia law. And this is not something that is surprising. Many of the judges and the lawyers are as politically driven as any other citizen of our country. So by trying to remain political while passing verdicts, it's just hypocrisy, I would say. It doesn't happen. So I think the judges and the lawyers, going forward, should come out in the open. At least we should also be encouraging them. Also should also be kind of, be okay if they share their political ideas and leanings and all that, because only then there can be more transparency in the judicial system and in the law and order system. Yes, this is quite baffling to understand, but I feel declaring one's political, sort of ideas, one's leanings, ideological leanings, and all that, it's going to bring more transparency. Because if that happens, then what would you rely on to get justice? If, let's say, the judge himself says, okay, I am from the RSS ideology, or okay, I am not from the RSS ideology, what would the people then rely on to get justice? They will rely on hard facts, on evidence, and nothing else. Because once somebody comes in the open and says, I have a bias towards certain ideology, I have a bias towards another ideology, then the only thing, the people, or anybody for that matter, would look for is hard evidence, hard facts, to come to a conclusion, come to come to the fact, come to a certain kind of truth. So I feel, this hypocrisy that kind of is prevalent now in the judicial system, also in the executive, system, that officers cannot have political leanings or bias or certain kind of political ideas. Judges, lawyers, policemen shouldn't be like that. It's very lame. Ultimately everything is politics. The entire world is run by politics. So how can you, if you are not insane, how can you not have a political bias? You will have. But then when you are coming and doing your profession, doing your job, you're coming and saying, oh, I don't have any political leanings and inclinations and I'm all clean. That's hypocrisy. That's lie. Why should we as a society go through this kind of, trying to be idealistic and trying to be perfect and making such humongous errors as a result? Why should we be that way? You might as well accept our flaws, might as well accept the things that everyone has political bias, and then look to go ahead and see what we can do about the things, how we can get justice, how we can move forward. At least in that way, we may not be trying to chase that utopian perfection, but at least we would accept reality as it is and try to figure out how we can do better from there. So I think, yeah, this is what I've been trying to, uh, I was kind of thinking, in terms of how it can, how this case of Kejriwal can impact the social framework. And maybe it's time for us to wake up and say, boss, even judges, lawyers, policemen, the bureaucrats can have political leanings, and it's absolutely okay. You can be supporter of Congress in your mind, you can be a supporter of RSS, BJP in your mind, doesn't matter. But only thing is you pass the verdict, you do your job based on the facts. Okay, and if you don't do that, obviously then we will know that you had a political bias, and uh, you've done your things according to that. You don't even have to uh, I mean, the officer doesn't even have to sort of come out in the open and lie. We It would be all clear out in the open. So I feel it's time for us to grow up and sort of accept that people are sort of flawed and people have biases, and only then we can try to sort of get into a system where we can accept this and go forward with the real hard facts. So I hope I've been able to explain this maybe properly or not. If you have anything, just comment. Okay, like, subscribe. Bye bye. Namaskar.